Hey everyone, Sean here, owner of Rain or Shine Golf, and today we're going to get into another video of our Golf Simulators Explained series. First one was, what is a golf simulator? Now, the second question that I get asked the most is, so what does one of those things cost? And the question, what does a golf simulator cost, is also a multiple part question, and we're going to jump back into another screen record just like the last video to answer this for you as we go through all of these categories. So first off, this is kind of how we lay out our website. So a golf simulator package is what we're talking about today. When I say what does a golf simulator cost, we're referring to the full either turnkey or overall sum of its parts bundle. And everything underneath that is what's required for an immersive golf simulator experience. So first off, let's jump to the launch monitor piece. Now, as many of you probably know, this is by far the most volatile part of the overall cost of the simulator. If you see when we jump into our filter here, you're ranging anywhere from $230 to over $20,000. So in some cases, this can be 98% of the cost of your overall simulator. What I want to focus on today is this top row here, which is some of our best sellers. If you want to get into a really high value, budget friendly option, the square launch monitor paired with a phone or an iPad can really not break the bank too much. You can also go the route of the Garmin R50 and potentially bypass the need for a projector or a computer, since that display and processor is built right into the unit. In most cases, one of our best sellers here would be SkyTrack. So we can talk about that one today. You're going to be in the $2,000 to $2,500 range as a really high value price tier. So with that being said, let's go to the next section. That was launch monitors. Now, another portion that you need to consider is the software that's actually running the launch monitor itself. So within the simulation software, what we see the most of is GS Pro. Not every launch monitor works with GS Pro, but in most cases, that is what people are typically looking for as of the recording of this video. And you're looking at a $250 per year subscription. Some launch monitors also have an integration fee or an annual subscription in order to play golf courses or other sorts of game improving features. Some don't. So that's a consideration that you need to factor in when you're looking at the cost of that launch monitor. On average, there's a small subscription fee as well as the $250 per year GS Pro. There's some launch monitors like Pro T, for example, that does not believe in subscriptions, and you buy the unit, you get access to whatever you want. So that's the software piece. Now, next category we'll get into is what we talked about in that last video, which is what you're hitting off of and what you're hitting into. So first, what you're hitting into. Screens and enclosures, or in some cases a net. There's a lot of variability here. Now, there's nothing wrong with starting the DIY route. And our DIY screen, for example, you can get a standard 8x10 size for just a few $100s. Now, that does mean you're going to have to source your own piping or build your own frame out of a lumber or steel or any other sort of structural material. And you may end up having to cut those yourselves too, but that is a place to start. Now, what we have the most luck with at Rain or Shine is our Swing Bay package. And it's not cheap, but it is very finely made with really high quality materials, and has a really quick push button assembly, custom made in-house, and the overall enclosure is built to last. You never know what you're going to get into with both other competitor framing systems that we see, or if you're trying to DIY something. Yes, it can work, but we do want to caution you that this is what we do. We put all of our efforts into making Swing Bay the best it possibly can be as an enclosure. That's why it's not the cheapest out there, but it will not break down, and it will last you for a significant amount of time. That is the cost of enclosures and overall netting and side safety netting materials. Next up will be turf. So if you jump into the filter here, you can also see you can get a hitting strip for $100. You can source some very cheap mats on places like Amazon for 150, 200 bucks. Definitely want to caution you against that. The quality is not going to be very good. What we see the most of is our swing turf golf mat that's going to run you a little bit higher than average at $300-400. But again, it's not going to break down. We have a lifetime guarantee on this, and it's going to really perform at an elite level for a significant amount of time. So, that's something that you do need to budget. If you're going with a standalone mat like swing turf, you'll be in the $400 to $800 range, depending on the size. You can also get well into the thousands of dollars if you're looking at this full rubber-based system, turf surround, putting green add-on, a lot of different features that you can add to the turf flooring itself. And then you can also get in some custom turf flooring, which we do in some more upscale solutions, where you can basically budget about $5 to $8 per square foot to build up the turf and drop your hitting area right into that flooring aspect. So that's the turf aspect of that. Another component that you need to get into with Golf Simulator cost questions are the projector. Should you want to go the impact screen route, this is, I would say, number 2 in terms of the most volatility of the price point. As you can see by the filter, again, short throw projectors, which is really all that we work with, are on the more expensive end. You can go with a standard throw projector for a $300-400 price point. The brightness may not be there for the room that you're looking at. Everything that we have on our site here at Rain or Shine is curated for golf simulation use, and we would definitely recommend to stay in that realm when looking at the certain projector options out there. Our best seller happens to be these Optima models here, which are in the $900 range to $1,500 range. But BenQ here is also a major up-and-comer, and they have some really cool features that dig into some automatic recognition of the screen dimensions. They'll make some adjustments for you. Projectors are complicated. That's another video that we have on the roster here for the coming months, is a golf simulator projector explanation and optimization type of video. So be sure to subscribe if you want to know exactly when that's released. But staying on theme here, the projector cost aspect. I mean, if you want to go absolutely all in, you can find $10,000 projectors out there, but I don't think it's really necessary for most simulator applications unless you're dealing with a significant amount of ambient light, or you're in a commercial space with tons of natural light coming in and you really want to make that image pop. In most of our applications, we're in a bonus room, we're in a garage, and your $1,000 to $4,000 projector are going to do just fine. Now, that takes care of the essentials of a golf simulator. There's certain add-ons that you can get into. We've mentioned in some prior videos, we've seen lighting additions, sound systems, seating areas integrated into the simulator room. There's some fun stuff like kegerators and bars, and all sorts of cool things you can do. I mentioned this in recent videos. We want to also put together the best add-ons to really bring your golf simulator from level 8 to level 11 out of 10. So be sure to subscribe to be the first to know about that. Again, staying with the golf simulator cost component, launch monitor, largest variable. Software, usually a subscription, and you can usually budget in the $300 to $500 or $600 per year for most of our units. Screens and enclosures, your DIY setup will be about $1,000 for an enclosure. If you're looking for a full turnkey enclosure build out like our swing bay, you'll be getting into the $3,000 range, and that is pretty typical across a lot of our competitors as well. On the hitting mat side of things, if you're looking at a standard, just a mat to hit off of and something to stop the ball as it's landing, that's going to be in the few $100 range. You can get well into the thousands if you're looking at full turf flooring solutions. And I mentioned earlier that'll be about $6 to $8 per square foot typically. Projectors anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000. You know, overall, a lot of ranges here. What I can tell you is you can do this for, you know, like you see here, $1,300. Garmin R10, our Net, our Swing Turf. That's a fully functioning simulator. You can run their software on your phone. You're not going to see the image in front of you. You're not going to see it very large, but you will be able to play a golf course with simulated ball flight for that price. That is doable. You can also get into some of our very premium options like the overhead IXO2 swing bait package, which gets in excess of $10,000. Tons of range here. Most of this is driven by the launch monitor again, but my encouragement would be come check out our Golf Simulators collection page and just dive around the site. That will be the quickest way to learn what exactly might make the most sense for you. And if budget and overall performance is an issue, I would certainly look at the launch monitors as your starting point and invest as much as you can into that. You can always start with a DIY screen. You can always add on to it over time. Yes, Swing Bay is what we do and what we do best, but I would encourage you to start with as much possible investment into the launch monitor as you can. From a golfer to another golfer, that's where you're going to get the most out of your game. And I hope this helps really simplify the world of golf simulation and what exactly the components are going to cost you. If you like this one, be sure to like it, comment for any video ideas that you have and you'd like for us to do in the future, and subscribe to be the first to hear about more videos to come. Thanks, and have a great day.